part of the culture. That's what the culture says. I realize I don't give a damn what culture says. I'm approved by Christ Jesus. I don't give a damn what the culture says. The culture don't mean shit.
I mean, I grew up around an older generation, so I'm like, I don't share the same values that a lot of girls have nowadays.
Right.
Like, I don't get it. I really don't. I don't see the point in, like, if I'm going to date someone and I see that they have their multiple options, they just made the decision for me that I shouldn't even be with you because you have options and I don't want to be an option. And like you said, I want to be a priority.
My priority. I want to be the main factor. I want to be the only factor. Like, if I ain't the only one, I don't want to be no one. You know. But do you feel like sex outside of marriage has devalued sex for marriage? The culture devalued sex for marriage?
I don't know. That's such a hard. I don't. It's.
Let's make it easier for you. Because I read a statistic. If a woman has over 10 bodies or whatever, she's comparing her these partners to her husband. So same thing with a man. If he didn't have multiple women, you gave him a piece of yourself. Like, that's like eating chicken nuggets. If somebody ate and nibble and spit and bit all them chicken nuggets, hell, you don't want them chicken nuggets no more, do you?
No.
So it was like, well, with people. If that person gave pieces of their body to somebody, the multiple people, they can't even count on their hand. Hell, they didn't value the part. Like, what is?
But then it's like, because marriage, if I remember correctly, now it's been a long time, but if I remember correctly, it's like a virgin when she gets married. Like, she's pure. So if that's the case, then is it really a true marriage at that point? Like, that's
I believe people need to go. That's why I believe people should stay pure before they get married. Granted, I haven't stayed pure. I've slipped up and backslid. Not no more though, because I got my mind made up. I ain't going back. I ain't backsliding no more. But I really believe before somebody get married, they need to detox and not have sex until they have sex with their husband or their spouse, because all that mileage adds up on you eventually. If you eat junk food for 3 or 4 years straight, you can't be surprised if something happens to you, because you done created this pattern as well. But that's what I believe. But it says that the more bodies you got, the higher chances for divorce, because you get numb to it. Your expectations become higher. You become emotionalist. The intimacy isn't there because you didn't give your body away. Sex is supposed to be really precious and beautiful between a husband and wife. The culture had devalued sex. The culture made sex dirty and nasty. Sex ain't supposed to be. Sex is not dirty and nasty. Sex is beautiful in the content of marriage, not with sneaky links and all that. But go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with that, because I agree with what you're saying, that it definitely devalues what sex is meant to be instead of what it is now, because like you said, it's such a common thing for people to just go and sleep around with multiple people, and then when they do get married, they're still stuck in that mentality of, oh, it's that, like, one night stands are such a big thing now, and like you said, sneaky things, whatever you want to call them, like, it's so popular.
Yeah, they're having threesomes and orgies, and they're making it seem like it's normal. It's like biblical times back then. People were doing that stuff and they had no conscience. Like we're living it now. They're just doing this stuff with no conscience. They have no shame. Like they don't even have no, like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't give a this you only live once attitude. Like, shit, I only live once. Go fuck it.
I guess because I've been with my husband since I was 18.
And how long you been married?
3 years.
That's a blessing. That's great. That's great.
Yeah, it has not been easy, but
Well, nothing easy worth having is gonna happen. Nothing easy gonna be had worth having.
that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, it's trial and error, and I mean, it's not like you said. It's not easy. Who was it that said that? Chris Rock, I think, said two people can lift a couch real easy, but it you leave one person to do it, and that couch ain't going nowhere. You know, like
Man, you ain't lying. Think about it like this though. I've had women that I ate women ass before, licked their ass, but I haven't met their parents. Let that sink in. We did something so disgusting, like I ate your ass, you ate mine, but I haven't met your parents. And you laughing, but think about
it.
this. We did something nasty in private. Why can't I meet your parents though?
But that's the thing that it doesn't like. But you're right. It's almost comical that like two people can be so personal with each other. It's like I've seen every inch of your body, but I couldn't tell you what the first feature of your mom looks like. I couldn't describe, a handshake with your father. Like it boggles my mind. And I come from a broken home. My parents got divorced when I was really young, and so
Me
my
too. Me too.
yeah. So my husband had to meet two sets of parents, and both sets of parents were not happy to meet him. I mean, I had my first kid at 18. There's already that hatred.
Right.
It boggles my mind because I'm such a family oriented person. Like I always want to be around family, and it just how do you get that personal with someone and not like bring them into your everyday life? At that point, you're like you've proven you don't want a relationship. You don't want that person because you're not willing to take that extra step. Like at that point, it's just sex.
Right. Right. And you had all your kids with your husband.
Mm-hmm.
That's great, man. That's beautiful. It's amazing to me. Like we laughing about it, and it's funny, but it's really not because real intimate. Well, sex is not intimate. That's a form of intimacy. But you see somebody naked. That's something somebody's husband or wife supposed to see. But you don't even meet their parents. You don't even know nothing about this person really, or they past, or the trauma which y'all having intercourse and staying in bodily fluids. This is amazing to me. I can't hold your hand in public, but we just did this in private.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And a
Uh,
lot it's just that eye candy. It's just sex. And, pop culture has made it such a okay thing when it's really not.
I think it's more of just lust.
But it goes back to that eye candy. They just want that guy that looks good.
It's, it's, it's lust. People, I think, confusing lust with love.
Mm-hmm.
And I think social media is helping that because women want to show off their ass and their body parts. People are confusing lust with love. They think this. But I realized one thing. I did research. Lust will rust and it turn into dust.
But what you just said, that a lot of people are confusing that lust with love. It circles all the way back around to those broken homes. They grew up in homes where they didn't know what that love was because they were never shown it. So now there's a whole generation of people and still generations of people to come that will never know what that true love is because they've never witnessed it. So they will only continue the cycle of what they know.
It's terrible. And two, I think people need to unlearn what their parents is. My parents was great, but I had to revalue what I had to get in Christ though. I had to let the word of God teach me and change me because everything my parents told me wasn't good. You know, I had to figure things out on my own. Everything my parents told me wasn't great. And too many people are going with their parents did. Well, my parents did it that way, so that means it must be that don't make it fucking right. What the fuck? Because they had you out of the way, like you gonna do the same thing with your kids, and you want your like. I think a lot of these parents are jealous of their kids. They have no identity. It is they don't want their kids to grow. That's why a lot of women they teaching their these sons and their I mean the men and the women the mothers and the fathers not teaching their children about marriage or relationships because they don't know and because they're jealous, ignorance and jealousy.
100%. Like I try, like what you were saying about how you were raised. You had great parents, which I had
Mm-hmm.
great parents, but they learned how to raise a kid by their parents, and not everything they do is right. So I get what you're saying. Like, eventually, someone's going to have to break the cycle, or it's just going to continue to be that. But I don't understand why you don't think back and think about something that your parent did that obviously you felt hurt you, or that you were upset about. Why you would do it to your own kid? Why you would force your kid to play a sport if they don't want to play it, or why you would force your kid to sit down and read for 4 hours when they don't want to. Like, I have toddlers, and even I know that they have the mindset of a goldfish, and I taught my kids colors by building blocks, just making
Yeah,
it.
that's you're right. That's another thing too. I think too many people. I think this school system is teaching people that all kids can learn the same and be the same, and if they don't, put them on medicine and Ritalin, which I don't think Ritalin is the problem.
It's not.
Ritalin ain't gonna solve it. Ritalin is not gonna solve it. Go ahead.
No, it's and you're right. The school system, especially now, is failing. Some of the stuff I grew, like, they took out cursive, they took out so many of the curriculum that I grew up with, and it's like, why do that? Because now it's like, okay, so take out signatures. No one's going to know how to write in cursive in 20 years since you've taken it out. So why do it? Why sit there and have something that doesn't exist anymore? And now it's like, with other communities coming into play, now schools are like, well, we can't teach sex ed the way we used to, because now not all girls are girls and not all boys are boys. And I'm one of those people. I'm like, be whoever you want. If it doesn't affect me and my life, then I don't care who you are.
Right.
I don't care
Uh,
what you do.
I just don't like how they force it on kids. I seen a sign the other day say God love trans kids. They do, but why is trans? Why are they dropping these nuggets in these kids' heads to be trans? Like, let them grow up and make these decisions on their own. If they want to be there, that's fine. But let them make their decision and 18 and older as an adult. So that's an adult decision they got to live with the rest of their life.
Mm-hmm. 100. It boggles my mind. I never. And so many people think that, like, oh, that little boy's playing with the doll. He's gonna be. He's not gonna be straight. You know what I mean? Or, oh, that little girl likes to play with monster trucks. She's not gonna be who you think she is. And it's like, they're kids.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think another thing is that when they don't have a father in the household, these boys are growing up emotional, overly emotional. That because see, society is trying to. Men can't act like women emotionally because the consequences is different, and the justice system knows that, and they're going to give you a longer sentence. Men get longer sentences for crimes than women. This is documented, and you can't react emotionally like your mother do. Since you have no father in there, these boys are growing up unruly. They have no discipline, no structure, and whatever. So they grow up, they do whatever they want, and the mother can't deal nothing with it because they bigger than their mother now. And now they're going outside their mother head. Now they're committing crime, and they end up in this prison system right there. And this is an evolving effect because they're growing up with these emotions of their mother. They're seeing their mother, grandmother being raised by women and not having a man in their life.
I I believe that there is a time and a place for a man to be emotional. I feel like when you're safe and secure in a marriage, that man has every right to be emotional. But I do feel like a lot of women, when they say, oh, we want men to talk about their feelings, we want men to feel like they can come to us and do this, but then when that man is emotional, they're like, oh, he's weak, we can't have him, he can't handle it you know and I think that's unfair for women to do, because it's like, you asked for it, and now that men are giving it, you don't know their past, you don't know what
Right.
it's from.
Yeah. Yes, that is true. I think that men should express their feelings and their emotions in the right way. I just feel like they're not handling it in the right way, and with that, they're going out doing it in other ways. but they don't have a man to show them how to express it because they can't do it if they got broken homes. If the homes are broken, that's what I think. So I think that's the culture got to deal with that. But I was about to say something this morning. Oh, why? Let me. Oh, this last one right here. Why are we having more relationships and less love, more sex and less intimacy?
People is people don't take the time to learn it anymore. People don't take the time to work through a problem. It's been, brought up as just if it's. I hate when people say that love, it shouldn't be this hard or it is that hard. It is difficult. You don't just fall in love and then, it's okay. I feel like a lot of people stray from that. They don't know
Right.
what love is. They don't know what intimacy is.
Right. I agree. I think just the ignorance. I just think wanting to fit in the pop culture. They just want to do what they care about other people's approval. That's another thing. Like the approval of people right now is ridiculous. Like people can't think for that. They don't know whether they want goddamn cherry coke or Sprite right now without somebody helping them with it. Like it's hell, you can be a Marvel character basically with common sense nowadays. So you really think love make people do stupid things or love make you do the right things?
I think love makes you do the right things
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you will never be more sure of a decision if you love someone or love something. No, you've never heard anyone be like, "Oh, I love this, but I quit it after 2 days because I realized it was too hard." Like if someone falls in love with the sound of a piano and they want to learn how to play piano, they might want to quit on that second day, but if they really love it, they'll learn how to play the piano. It's the same thing for a relationship. If you really love that person, it might get hard. You
Mm-hmm.
might want to quit it, but if you really love that person, you'll try everything in the book before you do.
Right. You won't make excuses on why I failed. You won't say, well, I'm in love with her. I'm in love with them, but I'm not in love with them. That's a new saying going around. When people say that now, I'm start asking them who he or she is, who that was. Because I don't know what that is. I fell in love with her, but I don't know. I'm in love, but I'm not in love with them. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what that means right there.
I feel like you can have love for someone and not be like in love with them. Not like in the sense of like a relationship wise, but like you can love a best friend. Like you can want the best for that person, you know? But that doesn't mean like if I have a guy friend, which I don't, but like if I did, I could love him and be like, I want what's best for you. I hope that you find a good woman. I hope you settle down. I hope that your kid, you have a wonderful family. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm in love with that man. You know what I mean?
Right. That's
But
absolutely.
but girls are trying to mix that with relationships, and it just doesn't work. Or men are trying to mix that with.
And don't you think another thing too? When people get married, they think when they get married, like other women ain't gonna be ugly or other men ain't gonna be ugly. Like your eyes don't work. Like you still got to be disciplined enough to say, okay, I'm still be loyal to this person and faithful.
Yeah, because if you have to work, you're always gonna find someone attractive. Whether it's a celebrity, someone outside your relationship. But that's on you to be like, no, because I love this person and I see their potential and I see their value and I want to be with this person. It's not that hard to not cheat. People make it seem like it is the hardest thing in the world to stay loyal to someone. It's really not. It's really not. Not if you care about that person. If you have a dog or a pet and you love that pet, you're not going to go and get another pet and get rid of that one. You know what I
That's
mean?
right. Absolutely right. Though you gonna stick with it. Uh, you gonna stick with it rough in the bad times though. That marriage, your vows say sickness and through health, not how you feel,
Yeah.
not how you feel, or, or not the sex ain't right, not because he ain't clean his clothes or not because he working hard all the time or whatever. Like it says sickness and through health, death do you part.
I think the best advice that anybody has ever told me is Don't ever go to bed angry.
Okay.
Always tell the truth. Always tell.
Right.
Don't hide from it. Don't beat around the bush. Don't bottle it up. Just tell them how it is. Communication. Those are like the easiest thing. If something bugs me, it's
Yeah.
like sometimes I still have to get out of that trait of like holding it, bottling it in. But most of the times now that I've set my boundaries, if something bugs me, hey, I don't like that you said that. I don't like that you did that. And if that person really loves you, they'll change it. They'll do what they can to change it. Know,
Mhm.
there's some sort of compromising. I think a lot of women don't give that chance to sit there and work on it like they should, or I guess however they want to live their life. I'm not saying everyone has to live their life like me. I'm not saying that everyone has to stay together, because I think two wonderful people can raise a kid and show a kid lots and lots of love, and and not be together.
Yeah. I think you could drive. You can supposed to drive a feet. You're supposed to drive a car with two hands, but you can also drive with your feet. Doesn't mean you're supposed to.
Yeah,
And
I'm right, but I understand there's circumstances and there's stuff that
yeah.
happens.
Right. Yeah, that's for the most part. That's what it's really about, though. But I mean, so many people got, with their favorite celebrity, they got this idea in their mind. Their favorite crush, celebrity crush, is just gonna come out the sky or whatever, and be with them. Like these fantasies. I think that's ruining relationship the most. These fantasies, Mariah Carey fantasies or whatever. And too many women think men can read their mind too. Like they think that the man can just read their mind and go out communicating. He supposed to know that. Like really?
Nope, I heard that doesn't happen until after 40 years of marriage, and you got to make it 40 years before you get to that point. So
They can barely make it to 40 days or whatever. So hey, they
three,
they change relationships. They change sex partners like they change their socks out here. So like they change their drawers. They just hey, when that one don't work, get someone that fit.
I
But
I couldn't imagine. I guess you just have to have a lot of confidence to be able to be that open with a lot of people. Like for me, I don't have the confidence for
that
that. I would not.
ain't confidence. That is false confidence. That's what culture says confidence. That's called being women's liberation, and I know that's my body, and I can have sex with who I want to. Okay, that means you need to pay the child support and all the bills for the child, or whatever, when you get pregnant. There's songs out there about that. I can have sex where I want to. Okay, so that means when you get pregnant, you gonna take care of that baby by yourself.
I I hate that the way that the child support works. Like my dad was in prison for like all of my life, and he owes so much back child support. But like, what was he supposed to do?
They don't care about
They
it.
don't care. And
That's another way. That's another way for the system to oppress men and have their foot on their necks and let them know that we're in control. And the system has a war. There's a war against men out here. Most men are committing suicide more than women. Most men are homeless. Most men are dying from diseases. Most men are dying from their jobs daily. There's a war out here against men. Nobody talks about it.
I think that there's a lot more opportunities and privileges for women than what women realize, versus what men have. Like
I agree. Mm-hmm.
a woman has a way higher chance of walking into and getting a job strictly because she is a woman, and that's like now the thing of like, oh,
Especially if it's attractive. Especially if
oh
it's attractive.
yeah, and then what a man would have to be like, oh, well, I have 3 years of experience, and they have to prove that worth. I feel like men are constantly have to prove themselves.
Right, they do, and that's why I feel like I was talking about this somebody earlier on my pod, talking about this earlier. That's why I feel like I don't believe in doing code approaches on women because, in a sense, you trying to show that you trying to prove yourself to her that you should be with her. You didn't. They don't like what they see. To hell with them. Fuck that. But who you feel like the better liars though, men or women?
I feel like, in all honesty, I feel like women.
Oh yeah, Because Maury Povich was making profit off 30 years of women lying to men. You got women out here lying to men, men taking care of kids that ain't belong to theirs.
The, the funny thing is that I like women literally, as long as you're attractive, you can make bank for
Yeah,
women.
I feel like with social media era, women monetize their beauty to get money. They figured out a way to monetize it. But I think if a man is taking care of a kid and he don't find out to the child about 2, 3, and he didn't get a DNA test, they need to make that woman pay child support or
Oh,
back money that owe him.
yeah, I think that especially if I feel like it should be a mandatory thing that if before a man signs a birth certificate that there should be some sort of DNA test or something, because there's so many men who are out here running that are getting their not running but getting their lives run by females who just want that extra cash, and it's not okay.
I
Like
mean,
I can say with full confidence who I had my kids with, who I'm still with. I can say that with full confidence, but it's because I didn't want to, why put someone through that? Like, why? I guess I just don't get
they're
the.
heartless. They're scandalous bitches. They're scandalous hoes.
I think that whoever child support should go with whoever makes the most income and whoever takes care of the kid. I feel like if a woman makes a better income than her partner or whoever she had the baby with, and she still has that kid, do I think that the man should contribute? I don't think he should contribute financially, but I do feel like there should be like, okay, you need to show up for your kid. If you can't support them financially, you at least need to be there, for your kid. But if a man, I hate that they do that, though. I hate that if a woman's making more money than a man and she's still entitled to that child, I don't think that's right.
They
Why?
don't care. They don't care. They want the man to just work overtime, sweat, get stressed. That's why a lot of men die from heart attacks. They got ulcers because they overworking themselves. They got to keep up with this, and then they married and they got to pay child support. They got to take care of this kid over here with their wife, and they're taking money from this family. It's just a mess right here. It's a mess. It's a mess. Nobody cares about men problems though. Nobody cares, but the feminist movement got the nerve to say that women are victims and poor women, and so that's what happens though, man. That's why I'm going so hard against this feminist movement, because they hate men. This culture hates men for standing up. That's why I'm so passionate about it. But yeah, that's what's going on.
I just don't get it. I mean, don't prove that you're an independent woman and that you're strong and that you can do it all by yourself and then rely on the same man who you left for your own selfish needs to pick up what slack you're dropping, especially if you didn't want them to have any part of it.
Facts. I agree. But I appreciate you coming on though, man. You was great though. Much love to you. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. I'll make sure to, hit that little subscribe button.
For sure, press that subscribe button though, man. Make sure you post it on all social media. This right here, and I definitely gotta have you on in the future.
Oh yeah, I would love to come back.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.